In this video, we will be adding the player's attack animation, and we'll be testing out the animation by pressing the spacebar. Later, we will of course bind the different attacks to 1, 2, and 3, or an action bar we will put on the screen so we can throw a fireball, frostbolt, or a thunderbolt or something. But for now, we will test it by pressing space. So if you're using my sprites, you will have to re-download the sprites or the asset package, because I just updated some of the player's attack sprites, so I adjusted them so that they fit better with this game, because they had some wrong proportions, some of them. So if you haven't downloaded the sprites yet, then I would suggest that you do so if you're going to use my sprites. Of course, you can also use your own sprites or some sprites from some other place if you want to. That's totally okay. And if you do so, then you don't have to do what I'm doing right now. Because if you have my sprites, then you have to re-download them, and you have to go to the player, and inside the player you'll see something called attack, and inside attacks there is something called attack adjusted. You already have this folder called attack adjusted, even though you downloaded the old version, but I re-uploaded these files, and you can see that they are named differently now, and that's just to make sure that we're using the correct ones. So if you have the files that looks like this with a short name like attack down 01 and so on, then you have the correct files. If you don't, then you have to re-download. I'm simply going to pull this out, then I'm going to pull it back into my player here. So I'm going to import it again. And there we go. So we have attack adjusted here. And there we go. So first of all, we will need to make sure that the pixels per unit is 300. So if you have your sprites and you have adjusted the size of the player's other animations, you'll have to select all the new sprites you're going to use for attack and make sure that they are all set to 300 pixels per unit, or the same amount of pixels per unit the other animations are. So when you have done that, we can start making our animations. First of all, we can take attack down and pull it up here. Go to assets, animations, and call this one attack _ down. And we're going to do the exact same thing for attack left and right and up. So animations, attack, let's call left, and then right, like so. Assets, animations, attack, right, and the last one is a attack down. And we need to put it in here. Oh wait, attack up, sorry. Got ahead of myself. There we go. Okay, so if we open up the animations folder, it created 4 new controllers. We don't need 4 controllers. So delete the controllers, find all the new attacks you have in the scene and delete them. And then we should be left with our player. So we need to create a new layer. So click the plus if you select the layers tab and call this one attack layer. When that is done, we can go to the walk layer, for example. Click on the walks what's called the walks blend tree here. Right click on it and click copy. Go to attacks and right click and paste. Now we have walks inside attacks. So we need to click on it and rename it to attacks. Then we can open it up and we simply need to set the correct motions here. So we need to put attack up here, attack down. Oh, I did wrong. This is down. Attack right needs to go here. Attack up needs to go there, and attack left needs to go there. So remember to replace them correctly, not do like I did in the beginning. So down should replace down, of course, up should replace up, and so on. So now we have actually already set up our animator so that we can apply or add our attacks, or use our attacks functions. So now that we've done that, we can open up our player script. So we are going to write a function that will make the player attack. And that function will simulate a cast time. So I will, for this like example purpose, put a cast time for like 3 seconds or something. Later we will of course generate some different spells that and the player will use that cast time to play its animation. But right now everything is going to have 3 seconds cast time, but later the cast time will be based on the specific spell. For example, maybe a fireball has a longer cast time than a frostbolt, or the other way around. And of course, he will be able to put on gear that will maybe reduce that cast time. So yeah, for now, just look at it as a test. So we need to make a function that can cast a spell. So how do we do that? Well, we need to make it inside the player, because I think the enemy and the player are going to attack in two different ways. So I would like to put that attack function inside the player itself, so the enemy can have his own attack function. Else we would put it up in character, but right now I don't think we can make something that both of them can use right away. So for now, let's just put it down here. First of all, we need to make it return an I enumerator. I'm going to write public, or let's just make public I enumerator attack. So this is our attack function. Or actually, let's try to make it private just to test if we can do that. So this is our attack function. So the reason that we are returning an I enumerator is because if you're returning an I enumerator, you can actually do something called yield return new. And that means I can say yield return new, wait for seconds, and then how many seconds I need to wait. Well, right now I would like to wait 3 seconds, just hard code the cast time. So this is like a hard coded cast time for debugging, like so. I'm just going to write that so we remember that this is hard coded. So that's why if I would do like this void, well, then I wouldn't be able to do this return yield new wait for seconds and so on. So I'm going to return an I enumerator. So because of this, I can actually cast my spell down here. So I can say, well, when I start to attack, I say animator, and I can't reach my animator from my player. So if I go to my character and go to the top, you'll see we have this my animator, but it's private. And because it's private, I can't reach from the player. So instead, I will make it protected. So now it's protected, which means I can go to my player and say my animator dot set bool attack. Okay. Well, this one needs to be true. Besides that, let's actually just do like this true, just so we can test if this works. So I've saved this. So when I start attacking, he will set the attack to true. Where do I need to do that? Well, I would like to go to my get input function. So I say if input dot get key down key code dot space. Look, I'm using get key down, not get key, because this should only happen when I press the space key down. Shouldn't happen once per frame when I hold it down. Then I can like keep throwing spells forever. That's not what I want. So how do we do this? How would we call this? Well, usually when you call a function, you will just do like this attack. Because this returns an I enumerator, we can use this as a coroutine in Unity. So I can actually use something called start coroutine and then use attack in here. A coroutine is basically something you do at the same time as the rest of the script runs. It's not threading totally, but it makes you able to run something in the background basically, or wait for it to be done. So right now I'm starting a coroutine, and then I can write down here debug.log done casting, for example. So let's actually try it here without setting the bool or doing anything. Let's just see, when I press the spacebar, it will write done casting after 3 seconds because it started as a coroutine. Let's just test that. So nothing is written, I press space, and after 3 seconds it should come up. There we go, done casting. So I waited 3 seconds and I was done casting. So the next thing I want to do is to make sure that I can cast the spell. So my animator that set bool attack. Well, right now we haven't set up anything in our animator to make sure that we can attack. Because if I activate this layer, it will start attacking right away. So that's another thing we need to do. We need to activate the layer when we press the space button. So let's try to do like this. our character is actually handling our layers. Let's see, we have something called handle layers here. I would also like to handle my attack layer up here, because I think our enemy is also going to attack, and that should be fine to do up here. So we're going to make an if else if like so, and then we're going to say activate layer, and it's going to be attack layer. So we need to put a condition here. If we are moving, well, if we're moving, then we're going to update our move layer and walk layer and update our direction. But we need to figure out if we are attacking, and we can do that by adding a new bool up here. So I'm going to make a protected bool called is attacking, and from the get-go it's false. So if attacking is true, then we add the attack layer, or enables the attack layer, I mean. Or so this construction should work. If I'm moving, I activate the move layer, I make sure that I update my direction. If I'm attacking, then I activate the attack layer. And if I'm not attacking, I'm not moving, then we activate the idle layer. So we need to access this one and enable it. So when we do this, we can say is attacking true. So if attacking is true, we simply go in here and enable the attack layer. So right now, it's not going to work as intended, because if I go in here and we just wait for a while and I press the spacebar, it will attack. But it says parameter.attack does not work, and it keeps attacking. And if we look inside the animator, you'll see why. If I select my player and play the game, the attack function is already running, which means if I click the spacebar when it's halfway through, it will actually start halfway through the animation and it will keep looping. So to fix that, I'll have to add a new empty state and call this wait. This is my wait state. I would like to put it as my default state. So now when I'm playing this, I'm in my wait state all the time. When I press the space button, I'll have to transition from wait down to attacks. I can do that by making a transition from here to there, like so, and one back. Okay. So we need to remember to remove our exit times, remove this and this, and we need to remove the exit times from here. Okay, like so. Well, we need a parameter here. So if I click the little plus here, I can actually add a bool, and I can call this one attack. So this one indicates if I need to attack or not. So I can go here and say, well, from wait to attacks, I would need to add a condition that says attack should be true. If attack is true, I go from wait down to attacks. If attack is false, well, then I go back. False, like so. Okay, so I can actually use this in here. On my player, we're simply saying, well, to remove this done casting, I'm setting attack to true. Well, I can actually do like this, and just for good measure, I can use is attacking down here. So my bool is based on the value of is attacking, which indicates if my player is attacking. So I'm using the same value both places, so that they can't be different. Okay. So let's see here. If we go back now, and I think I remember to save, just to make sure. Let's see what happens now. It plays wait, and we have a key not found exception. Let's see here. That's fine. It plays the wait animation. I can walk around and everything, and if I click down, it'll start attacking down, but it keeps running. And the reason that it keeps running is because it's set to looping. So I need to go to my animations, find all my attack animations. I can do it one at a time apparently, and remove loop time from all of them. Remember to remove the loop time. Okay, that's one thing. The other thing is the fact that attack is never set to false. So I also need to set the attack to false somewhere. Well, maybe you've already noticed that, but a good place to set the attack to false would be down here, because then I set attack to true, I start attacking, and then I wait 3 seconds until my cast is done. Remember, this line is going to be based on the length of the cast. Let's say we have a fireball that takes 4 seconds to cast. Well, then we will wait 4 seconds until we're done casting. So down here we should set it to false. But we might as well make a function for this, because we need to reuse it different places. So inside character, actually, we can make a function called stop attack. So why am I making it in character? Well, I have a feeling that I'm going to use the stop attack on my enemy as well. Let's say he's shooting with a bow and arrow. If the player moves away from him, he will have to stop attack to follow him. So I think that I'm going to make it up here. So is attacking, sorry about that, it's false. And then we have to say animator, my animator, it's called my animator dot set bool attack is attacking. We're using is attacking again. Okay, so it's a very simple function. There's not a lot in it right now, but maybe we'll add more later. So this will stop us from attacking. So if I go here, I can say stop attack. So we can pump this up to 5 seconds just to test it. So let's say we have a 5-second cast. Well, then our player walk around and everything, press space, he will start casting for 5 seconds. After 5 seconds, when the cast is done, we will have a casting button here. He jumps back into idle. So imagine that we are playing this game and he does this, and we will have a casting bar running down here. And when the casting bar is done casting, the fireball will be shut off and he will go back to his normal state. By the way, don't mind the exceptions I had before. It's simply just something that my Unity is doing right now, because you can see it doesn't pop up again now. Anyway, what else? We need to be able to cancel our cast. Let's say that I want to throw a spell on an enemy. Well, I would need to be able to cancel it properly, because right now it actually bugs out if an enemy is coming and I start casting and I stop casting. Well, then he will keep starting to cast like when I stand still right now. So it never goes out of the actual attack layer when standing still. And that's not the point. We would like to be able to cancel a cast by moving. And we don't want to be able to start casting while moving as well. So just want to see if he bugs out when I do this. Yeah, he kind of does. Yeah, so we also need to fix that. Another thing, don't worry, we will also fix the fact that he's jumping to the side when we cast. It's easier to see if I maximize. You see he jumps to the right when he starts casting and jumps back to the left when he's done. There you go. You can see if I hold my mouse on the center of his belt, see when he starts casting he jumps to the right. So that's also something we are going to fix so he stays in place when casting. But first of all, let's fix that thing about the movement. So if we open up the script again and go to character, we will have to find the handle layers function. And in here, we will have to make sure that when we are moving, we will stop attacking. So let's write stop attack here. Like so, because then when we start to move, we will stop the attack and say that is attacking is false, and we set the bool to false. Because if I don't save this, now I haven't saved, so the code shouldn't work. If I do like this, not maximized like this, select my player and the animator, you'll see he's in wait. And if I do like this and start moving, he still plays attack animation here, you can see, even though I'm moving, and then it goes back to wait. If I save the code I just wrote, it should stop the attack animation when I start to move. We'll see now. If I attack and I start moving, it jumps back to wait right away. So now there's no problem here with the fact that it's still casting when I'm moving. But one more thing is the fact that we can start the coroutine more times. There's nothing stopping me from spamming space and start to attack, set to true, set this one to true, and then start a new coroutine that waits for 5 seconds before we stop attacking. Right now it's not a problem, but later when we cast spells it might be a problem. Let's say maybe we can queue up like lots of spells and they will all like just fire away because we can keep adding spells to the line even though we are still casting. So just to prevent any problems down the road, we can do like this. If is attacking. So if we are not attacking, well then we can start attacking. And let's see if I can hit the right buttons. And if we are not moving. So if we are not attacking and we are not moving, then we can cast the spell. So now I just saved, but before we were able to start the spell cast while moving. I can also do like this. If I delete this and save, then you'll see that I should be able to, or nothing should stop me. Okay, it will stop the cast by itself, because we just added this one down here will stop the cast for us. But just to make sure that we're not trying to start any cast while moving at any point, I would like to add this and is moving. So now we are only able to start a cast when we're not attacking and when we're not moving. Okay, let's test it out and see if it works. So I shouldn't be able to start any spell casting while moving, and it looks fine. And if I start casting and I start moving, he will not cast again when I stop. However, I was just thinking about something. I think there is a bug though. So the fact that we're using a coroutine and we are interrupting it in the middle without using the proper way of interrupting a coroutine, it might still run in the background. And if we look here in the code, it's waiting 5 seconds. So let's say that our code is right here and it waits for 5 seconds. When it starts waiting, I start moving, and when I will start moving, well, because we just wrote this code, it will call stop attack, and it will set is attacking to false, and it will set the bool as is attacking to false in the animator, so I can move around again. Well, I can move around and then I start attacking again, but the old coroutine is still waiting here for those 5 seconds, and the next coroutine starts, and the next coroutine can start because this is false, or this is true. This condition here is cleared because I just execute this code here. So the condition up here is cleared, and the next one starts, which means I start to cast, I set the animation, but then this one stops. This one is done waiting, and it's called stop attack. So in theory, it will cancel an attack before it's done. Maybe it's very hard to understand when I explain this, but we can use some debugging to see how it looks. Let's just see if I can catch this, right? I start attacking right there, I move around, and then I start attacking again, and it canceled right away. As you could see, it canceled right away almost without me pressing anything. And that's because that extra coroutine is waiting there. See, I run attack here, I'm waiting, running around, then I start attacking, and it canceled before it waited for those 5 seconds. Okay, so to fix it, we will have to stop the coroutine the proper way, and to do that, we will have to use a function called stop coroutine. First of all, let's go to the top here and make a new protected coroutine called attack routine. So attack routine is going to have a reference to the coroutine that we started. We can use attack routine to stop it again so that we don't get that bug. We can also do some debugging right now just to see that it actually has the bug, and then we can see it fixes it. Because let's see here, we can say debug.log. Let's call this attack done. So attack done will be executed whenever we're done throwing an attack. Okay, so when it finishes its cast and the fireball should be flying up through the air, attack done is executed. However, when we cancel our attack, we will say debug.log attack stopped. So you'll see if I do like this, you'll notice that it actually writes out, let's see here, attack stop when I move around, and when I press space, it simply just writes attack done and attack stop though after a second. Attack done, right? So attack done is when it finishes. So I can actually show the bug here. I am attacking, I'm stopping the attack, but then I'm waiting. I'm not attacking right now, but it writes attack done even though I wasn't attacking. And that's because the coroutine is hanging around after we stopped attack. So inside stop attack, we also have to say, well, we have this coroutine called attack routine. We need to stop it. So let's simply just say stop coroutine attack routine. Okay, so when this is done, we will have to make sure that this attack routine has a reference to our coroutine. So where are we starting it? Well, on the player, when we are attacking here, we can say attack routine equals start coroutine, because the coroutine returns that routine or reference to the routine that it just started. So this should work. Let's see. So if I go out here, I shouldn't be able to get this attack stopped and then attack done after. So yeah, okay, right now it's trying to stop a coroutine that is null, so we get a reference exception. Let's just fix that as well. Sorry about that, I didn't think about that. So down here we can simply say if attack routine isn't null. We can basically just put everything in here. So now we are just stopping something when it's not null. So just do like that. And we cancel this. Okay. So now we don't have anything written yet. Let's see if I start to cast and I move around. And I think that was it. So now it doesn't write that thing that it stopped after I'm done. So we can also try to look in the animator. So let's see, we start our attack and wait a little, we move and start attack again. And we still wait the 5 seconds because we actually stopped the coroutine. And now he stops. Attack done, as you can see. So that's it. Now we just fixed that cast. And remember, this is just for testing so far. We will of course add some real cast time and some casting bars. I know this has been quite a long session, so I'm going to end the video here, even though we haven't fixed the bug with him jumping to the side when attacking. We'll simply fix that in the next video, so don't worry about it. If you find any bugs with this movement and attacking, then please let me know in the comments section on YouTube or on Facebook or by email, because it will help me out a lot if you find some bugs so that we can fix them. So thanks for watching. Thanks for watching my video. Please remember that InScope Studios is a community founded page, so please consider clicking the support link on the screen to see how you can support me and get something back in return.